Okay, time to open up some more boxes of random junk. And in this case, we've got quite a few. I would say about 2 pallets worth. Now, all this stuff here was donated to us by a power engineering company, and they really did deliver it in a freight truck on 2 pallets, 2 skids, and I had to unwrap all the plastic off of them and get them up here. Temporary storage space right here, and I'm finally gonna open these boxes up. Most of them I haven't touched yet. I haven't opened them up, and some of them I have looked inside, and let me tell you, there's some really awesome stuff. Huge power resistors like this big, used for automotive braking or locomotive braking, trains, in diesel electrics or a purely electric train this big. Let's look inside some of these things and see what we got. Also, way buried down deep in the corner, there's a really big, heavy box. That's going to save that one for last because I think we'll find some really interesting stuff inside there. So here's the setup with all this stuff. And you can see that this used to be the control systems and robotics classroom, and all the big main tables, they've been moved over to the new building. So had to scrounge around some extra leftover tables here and put them near the corner here so I can stick all the boxes on there and open them up. And got this rack right here to stick some of these things on the rack too once I get them out of the boxes and looked at, and maybe a little bit of sorting will be going on here too. All right, just gonna start from top to bottom here. Got my favorite green box opener knife, box cutter knife. Let's cut this one open. This one's labeled Plastic Fasteners Samples. Let's see what's in here. And indeed, it is just a bunch of plastic fasteners on the 3M double-sided sticky tape. And some plastic things for circuit board slider holders thingies. Don't know what to call them. And I'll try to move quick since there's so many boxes here. And so yeah, just RJ45 cable there, some screw terminals, bunch of standoffs, steel standoffs there. Whoa, look at the size of these switches here. That's a badass rocker switch right there, rated 20 amps, 240 volts. Awesome. And at the bottom of the box, just a bunch of different connectors, sizes, different styles, pin pitches. Big fat mess. That's what's in here. This one, system samples, miscellaneous electric samples. Samples of what? Okay. We got more headers. High intensity aluminum, indium gallium phosphide LED lamps. Just a little sample bag, really, that's all it is. HP. Some relays here. 24 volts is written on this box. Let's see what's inside. Ooh. What is that? Another relay? Yep, I would say this is a 48 volt quadruple pole double throw relay. 48 volt coil. There's another relay box. Ooh, these are the see-through relays. Very nice. Just your standard double pole, double throw. And yet another box of relays. Yep, just more of those little yellow ones again. Now this is interesting. Got a little bag of LEDs. And the LED in this particular package, that's white all around except for the green plastic on the front, or could be red or yellow or whatever, but this shape of LED reminds me of back in the old days when you'd have one of these mounted directly on the front of a hard drive, and that would be the disk access LED that always blinks when the hard drive's being read from or written to. Now this is interesting. This little box of fuses here, rated for 15 amps, and this little plastic case thingy. I want to make sure the camera focuses. There we go. So yeah, there's the two terminals for the current to go through, and the current goes through that little wire right there. And so then when that wire trips, and I think I'll do that right now, see if I can slice that. Yep. And so this thing just springs right up and indicates that the fuse has been blown. Awesome. And lots more green LEDs here. Maybe I could put them onto my LED lemming circuit. Now in this big DG key box, got a bunch of, looks like surface mount parts, reels and strips, a whole bunch of surface mount stuff, little tiny surface mount packages, and yeah, I'm not going to bother looking at exactly what these chips are. What have we got in here? These are pretty heavy. There we go. Oh, 12 volt DC. Oh, look at that. It's a relay. Badass. Single pole, single throw. 12 volt DC relay. 60 amp, 400 volt DC contacts. Damn. Not quite as much as an automotive starter relay, but still very impressive. There's also some more chips over here on top of all the boxes. And I've seen these already. This is a bunch of PICs. Bunch of microchip brand PIC microcontrollers. Whole bunch of them. Got some really nice ones here. Look at these with all the gold-plated window on there. Really nice. The PIC 16C672 with the date code of 97. Really sweet stuff. Now let's look at some of these resistors here. Got this box and a few others just sitting on top. So these things, what is it? 100 ohm. Don't know how many watts, but anywhere from 100 to 200. Probably 200 watt because the part number looks like FVT-200. So really a total of 600 watts for this assembly and another one for that. Here we got a nice potentiometer with this little slider bar that you can loosen up and then slide it back and forth. Not very convenient. It's more like a set it and forget it kind of thing. But total resistance is only 2 ohms. Awesome. And this one, 3 ohms. Got the same little slider thing. You can set it and forget it. So power resistor mounting hardware. Big, long, skinny screws. And a whole bunch of other 100 ohms, 16 ohm. What's this weird one here? 0.36 ohm. Very low resistance. We've got some experimental setups here for dummy loads or whatever. Have no clue. Wow. Look at these sweet copper bars here. Man. Nice grounding bar here. Really nice. Here's another kind of linear potentiometer. This one is wire wound, whereas the other one was this crimped ribbon wound. This has a nice wire and only exposed in this one slot right here. Everywhere else it's got a nice enamel coating on it. And here's a nice power supply that came with all that junk. ITT North Power Systems Division. Big old fan here for the big old heat sinks. Whole bunch of transistors on these heat sinks, and it's the kind of power supply. I'm sure it's got some kind of class letter or class number or something. I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's the kind that doesn't go down to 0 volts. It has a range, in this case, from 3 to 40 volt output and 30 amp output right back here. That's the main output terminals. And it looks like on the front you can hook up a little analog meter to display either the voltage or the current. Don't know what. Let's see what's in this box here. Wow, something big. What the heck? Is that it? It's just got a couple of these big aluminum, feels like aluminum plate with blue paint on it. Duh, it even says paint blue. After paint, see bill. Top left corner it says prototype. My best guess is that these would be for mounting vertically like this and putting a whole bunch of power resistors in between them, mounted on these, on the holes, the small holes or maybe the big holes. It all depends on what kind of resistor you want to put in there. Now this box, fans, all voltages. Let's see. Yep, it's a bunch of big old muffin fans. This one is, what voltage is this? There it is, 48 volts DC. I don't think I've ever seen a muffin fan like this rated for 48 volts. You know, I've seen 12, 24, and even 115 volt AC. There's a 24, but I've never seen 48 volt fans. Wow, here's a big beast. TA 600 DC, 24 volt is the rating on this bad boy. And there's a whole bunch more of these things in here. There's another box inside this box. And lo and behold, it's more fans. These a little bit smaller. Some more 24 volt fans, and this one 12 volt. Now here's another box. I don't think I've looked in this one yet. Oh wow, that's a nice toggle switch. It's got the little ball on top there. Really sweet. Rated for 20 amp, 250 volt. Got a few more of them in here. Some more power resistors. Some ancient computer interface board. PICmaster 1991 with the ISA connector. What the heck? So a whole bunch of 15-pin DB15 connectors, all mounted on this cardboard strip. That's a very clever way to package these things. I've never seen them like this before. So we got some microchip ICD stuff. This thing looks like it may have never even been used, or used just once and then kindly put back inside its original packaging and forever forgotten about. So it's another microchip PIC with 2000 date code. And here, it's probably just the same. Got another box here. Look at this old box here. RCA solid state products. Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore. I don't think RCA even exists anymore. So what do we have here? NPN 2N5671, or these are 5672 NPN high current transistors. This entire box is nothing but all these transistors stuffed into styrofoam blocks. Awesome. These things have a date code from 1985. Let's see what we got in this box here. Gonna need the knife. Ooh, wow. What the hell is this? Look at this badass relay. Oh man. Giant copper blocks. Contact Industries. Part number CT400A. Looks like 48 volt DC for the coil, but then it's crossed out and rewritten as 36. Wow, very impressive. That's got to have at least a 200 amp rating on these contacts. Maybe more like 300 or 400. Very impressive. Oh, got an old analog panel meter here, 75 volts DC. There's another badass relay. These contacts look like anywhere from 50 to 100 amp. Oh, duh. Well, I guess my estimate was good, because this is actually, the part number shows you the current rating right there. So that's 70 amp, and this one is 400 amp, right at the upper end of my estimate. And no surprise, some more power resistors. These are a 15 watt. Big old bag of full wave bridge rectifiers here. And big mess. Just tons and tons of all these different parts. What's inside this? This is weird. I don't know what the heck part this thing is. Oh, so that's what this thing is. Yeah, there's this tube of little blue blocks, and the bottom of the block has these 4 very fine pins on it, and then there's these big heavy pins, and really all it is all those pins, you know, you can just pull them out. These are for where the high current goes through, and they go through this iron core, and right in there is a Hall effect sensor. So the 4 pins on the bottom are labeled ref, out, ground, and VC. So there you go, little Hall effect sensor current transformer. And what a mess. Just a whole bunch more of power resistors and miscellaneous semiconductors and reels of surface mount parts in here. Some RJ45 connectors, 0.1 inch headers, some more PIC microcontroller stuff. You know it's old when you open the box and you find floppy disks. So there it is, ProMate 2 device programmer. Another box here. Got a big old power supply and a bunch of multi-pin probes and IC sockets. Let's see, and programming sockets here. Even got a thing for a quad flat pack. Looks like this is emulator type stuff. Certainly, stick that into your device under test, and this emulates all the microprocessor functions. MPLAB ICE 2000. Man, now this really would have come in handy about a year ago. I think I actually had to make one of these from scratch for our own Altera PIC programmer thing that we have here, and put a 400 mil pin and pitch in here and convert it into 600 mil on the other side. And this box, more PIC stuff. Oh, it's a little more modern now. We have a CD-ROM. Huh, another fan. I think I'll throw that in the fan box. And some more emulator or IC sockets of different quad flat packs here. Oh, what the hell. Just throw those in there. And yeah, just more whole mess of different kind of antiquated PIC programming stuff here. MPLAB. We did used to use this kind of stuff years ago at this campus. Not anymore. I mean, none of this stuff even has USB capabilities. Anything you hook up to a computer these days, it has to be by USB. Otherwise, it's never going to get used. Another mystery box here. Let's see. Just some metal strip in here. Looks like a back panel for something. Probably you'd have the power switch here and a DB9 connector and your I/O and some steel plates. So here's the decal for that middle plate. Ah, so that large hole is actually for a digital display readout, and we got the different buttons right here, LED indicators, and there's the connector. So it's actually for the front panel, not the back panel. But that's it. It's just foam in here. Toss that out of the way. Now these next 3 boxes are labeled telecom. Let's see what we got in here. Resistors. Just a whole bunch of power resistors in here. Not that many. There's only this one plus 6 more. What is this? There it is, 16 ohm 6/00. I don't know. That can't be 600 watts. I don't know what that rating means. Now it makes sense. Right there, load resistors, 16 ohms. So these will just be load resistors for telecom applications. I really have no idea of any more specifics than that. Maybe they could be load resistors for, maybe they could be dummy loads for audio amplifiers for 16 ohm speakers. I don't know of any 16 ohm coax or anything like that. It's a whole bunch of these little plastic cable ties or straps or whatever. The entire bag is full of them. And possibly the entire, oh, not the entire box. Look at that. 5 microfarad, 100 volt Westco capacitor. And here we got some Class X or Class Y. Yeah, it's Class X2 capacitor, 0.22 microfarad. And more caps. Just a whole bunch of, these are 2200 mic electrolytic. Looks like we got some 0.1 microfarad ceramics. All there. A lot of these will come in handy for some of our electrical, some of our EE labs here at Penn State. Okay, so I've been through most of the bags in this box, and it looks like it's really nothing but capacitors, big and small, short and tall. Last telecom box here. More mysterious black bags, and these look like current suppressors, current surge suppressors, or maybe some VOMs perhaps. Yeah, just a whole mess of these surge suppressor devices inside all these bags, except that one. Got some nice copper plated grounding clips and more capacitors. Now here's a box I have looked at before. It's just a bunch of all these electrolytic capacitors, 2700 microfarad, 35 volt. And even though they are quite large, it's really not that impressive, because here is a 50 volt 1000 microfarad cap, and I did the math already. This is 1.25 joules of energy storage. This one is 1.65, so roughly the same energy storage capacity, but just look at the difference. This one is like 4 or 5 times the volume of this one. So I don't really know what year this came from. It might be 49th week of 96. Not entirely sure if that's a date code. This other one, don't know if there's any date codes printed on here, but anyway, there's clearly a big difference in the energy densities of this, and how the caps just get smaller and smaller through the years. And there's this other box, quite heavy, and I have not opened this one yet. Oh man, see, this is what I was talking about. Look at this. Wow, holy crap. Damn. Those are some big ass resistors. I gotta back up and get this on camera. So there it is, full view in all its glory. So this one looks like each one, I guess they're going to be the same. Yeah, it's labeled Milwaukee 0.6 ohm 7/00. Again, we saw this kind of marking on another resistor. I don't know what that means. Don't know what the power rating is, but it's got to be at least 1,000 watts per resistor, maybe 2,000. Very impressive. Inside this box we got 2 more assemblies of this. It looks like this one is just 2.4 ohm. Yeah, these are 2.4 ohms. The other ones were 0.6. And then there's 3 individual resistors here. The wire on this thing is 8 gauge, 600 volt rated. Okay, that pretty much takes care of all the small boxes. Now we got these super jumbo sized boxes down here. So these 6 boxes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, These are all going to be pretty much the same, and they just have these big old power resistors like the ones we just saw. Here we go. Look at that. There's another one. Again, 2.4 ohm. So I'll just put that one back. And we got 5 of those inside this box. And I'm pretty sure that all these other boxes are going to be just about the same. Here's another dual, here's another dual bunch of resistors here. These are the 0.6 ohm. Let's have a look in these 2 large boxes sitting on the floor here. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, look at that. This is just a big old spool of, I don't know what to call it, but it's the spring-loaded stuff that you put on the edge of a metal sheet or whatever to give it an edge that's not so sharp and nice and safe and not abrasive to any wires that may be going through it or by it. So this would come in handy. And here we got some fiber optic cables. Let's see, there's this little box here. What the heck? This is kind of heavy stuff in here. Sure, there's these big blue sheets of this material here. I'm not sure what it is. It's very dense. It's got the protective layer on the outside there, and looks like it's, whoa. Ah, this might be heat sinking stuff. Yeah, it's kind of sticky. It's got some kind of glass fiber mesh inside of it. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of silicone heat-sinking compound. And here's all those big overgrown sheets of this stuff. That'll certainly come in handy. So here's the product information. It's a gap pad to fill in all those microscopic gaps on your heatsink. What the heck? Got some kind of Sae Terminal Adapter Kit. Adapter for what? I don't know. Oh, I think I know. This would be for lead-acid batteries. So this will go into a terminal on a lead-acid battery, and then this is just an adapter for whatever kind of hardware that's designed to go on the outside plug of a lead-acid battery. And so this will be for ground, of course, and conveniently they provide a red-colored cap for the one to go on the positive terminal. What do we got in here? It's kind of heavy. I shouldn't be doing this with the knife, pulling it towards me. I should be opening it up like that. Much safer operation there. Wow, this is impressive. Looks like we got some current sensing, current transformer kind of stuff, solid state current transformer. And then there's these. I guess these are starter relays. What is this? 48 volt DC for the coil. And as far as the contacts are concerned, looks like 200 amp rating. And looks like some of these have been used quite considerably. Look at that. So what we got in this box here? More surface mount junk. Diodes, relays, and connectors. Panel mount LEDs. Whole bunch of random parts. Got a I think, yep, 3-com internet switch. I guarantee this will not come in handy. We already have a shit ton of these that never get used, so I won't be keeping this. Then there's this plastic case inside. Feels kind of empty. Oh, it's got a few things. Some kind of special cable right here with a special connector. Siemens stuff. Logo go? PLC stuff. Yeah, just a bunch of junk. Nice case though. Certainly want to keep this. Let's see what's inside this box down here. Oh man, more awesome stuff. Looks like just connectors in here. But the awesome stuff that I saw was this. Holy shizzle. Look at that. This one is 600 amp rating on the contacts here. 24 volt DC on the coil. There it is. 24C. Wow. Very impressive. That's some nice mounting hardware here. I should close the knife before I cut myself. In this box, yeah, just a bunch of 4-pin headers and other miscellaneous terminal strips and connectors. More connectors. More fans. And I'm making a mess on the floor. Here's another fan. Brand spanking new fan in its original box. 24 volt DC. And again, there's just more fans back here. More. What's really impressive is these. Look at these super nice parts drawers. Oh man. It's just a crap load of heat sinks. Every kind of heat sink and TO3 lineup, pin lineup, connector thing that you could ever possibly need. All kind of heat sinks for TO22s or TO3s and everything in between. And another one back here. Again, more heat sinks. Look at that stuff. Holy crap, this is awesome. We got some nice copper heat sinks in there. Sweet. Okay, got all those power resistors out of all those big mess of boxes and packing foam back there. And we have 23 of the 0.6 ohm and 12 of the 2.4 ohm. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these, but I think the power engineering teacher might want to have a few of these for sure. Now, coming back over here, the last box. And this is the biggest and the heaviest of all the boxes. So let's cut this one open and see what we got. Oh, sweet. What a big mess of everything in here. Look at that. Even got some big old transistors. I don't know if it's MOSFETs or IGBTs, but here's the part number, Ixis brand. What else we got here? Some kind of development board. Another microchip thing, copyright 1999 written on there. And some more emulator stuff, like the things that we've seen already. Fragile, handle with care. Paris Semiconductors. Just a whole crap ton of big old power semiconductors in here. Got no idea exactly what, but that'll be something to look up later. New product sample kit. Again, more heat sinks. Just a whole mess of different heat sink samples. I think I'll just give this to one of the EE students. They can make good use of these things for their own personal projects. There's another one. And more heatsink sample kit in here too. What do we got in this box? Oh man. Holy crap. Wow. What a beast. SW600A. So I guess that's a 600 amp relay right here. Look at that. That is badass. What do we got in here? Oh man. Just another big old sample box. Connectors. All sorts of different kinds of connectors. IC sockets, headers, ribbon cable stuff. Absolutely incredible. I have no idea what I would do with 99% of this stuff. Hey, got some nice RCA jacks. Those might come in handy. More power resistors, 15 watt. We've seen a box of these already. And no surprise, another power resistor. This one is 0.1 ohm. I think that's the lowest resistance we've seen yet. I think that 3-digit number on the end there, 3/97, that might be a date code, just March of 97. So these other beasts that we have here, that's going to be July of 2000. What's this? More resistors. Looks like 3 watt or 5 watt resistors in here. And just a mess of small to medium-sized power resistors. Got no clue what this is. There's a wall wart in there and some kind of computer DB5 connector for parallel port. Whoopee, more muffin fans, like I really need that. Yeah, just capacitors, more capacitors. That's pretty much what's in here. Some dip switches. Speaking of capacitors, holy crap. Look at this. Whole mess of 450 volt, 390 microfarad. Awesome. And this looks like diodes. No, I stand corrected. 1.5 KE 400A. That looks like to me that looks like the part number of a transient voltage suppressor. So what's in this one here? Ooh. Oh man. Look at this. Bunch of analog meters in here, 75 amps, 600 amps, and appropriately some huge ass current shunts. Oh man, that's awesome. 2,500 amp. I think that's the biggest current shunt I've ever seen. Wow. Some smaller ones in here. Nice little piece of wood it's mounted on, 200 amp. Here's another one for 600 amp. Really sweet stuff. So this box is pretty light. Bunch of Phoenix contact stuff here. Oh, connectors. These little 3-pin connectors. No big deal. This probably, yeah, that's I'm not even going to open that. That's pretty much the same thing here. More capacitors. These are 63 volt, 1,500 microfarad, just like that other box of big old capacitors. These are greatly oversized for what kind of technology is available today. And more heat sinks, more muffin fans. There's a nice big old heat sink there, and another one. Just a few full wave bridge rectifiers here. Got some more relays in the transparent plastic cases. This box is labeled switches. What kind of switches? Whole mess of different rocker switches and toggle switches, and yep, nothing too special there. DJ key box. Again, more of these Phoenix contact green connectors, and a whole mess of different kind of parts in here. Capacitors and relays. More big old caps. What is this? 470 microfarad, 450 volt. Got a nice lunch bag full of those. And in this one, 1,000 microfarad, 200 volt. There we go. Some more 15 watt power resistors. And this is just empty plastic housing for connectors with, they don't have any metal terminals inside them. This looks like a power resistor inside here. Yep. There we go. Brand spanking new. 500 ohm, 225 watt. Plato products. More power resistors. Looks like 10 watt. No, it's rated for 12 watt, 100 ohm. More heat sinks. Really nice toggle switch. Some wall warts and resistors and what have we down here? Oops. Oh man. It's just more of the same in here. Whole mess of different parts. Oops. What is this? Oh wow. Look at these super long headers here. Those will come in handy, I think. Bunch of somewhat unusual cables and connectors in here, like this one. Got a bunch of high density data connectors, and then there's these high current connectors on the outside. And each one of those high current connectors gets 10 dedicated pins just for that one connection. So that's just more relays and Phoenix contact connectors. Lots more capacitors. There's this weird thing here. What the heck is this? Cornell Dubilier flat pack. 330 microfarad, 420 volts DC. Look at that. Even has a price labeled on it, $5.50. Wow. This is really nice. I don't care how old or useless this thing may be. I'm going to keep it just because of how unusual it is. And look at that, more fins. Yay! So this box, more heat sinks, more power semiconductors. There's a nice big old diode. Finally, last box. Resistors, samples. And indeed, it certainly is a sample of pretty much everything in here. Big and small resistors, different wattages, different values, and fixed and variable. Whole mess in here. So that's it. Lots of awesome stuff, big and small. Some of the biggest, no, the biggest power resistors I have ever seen. Really cool stuff. So thanks for watching. It was really fun to unbox all this awesome stuff. I hope you had fun watching the video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you later. Bye.